Good morning, and welcome to the Think and Grow Rich show. My name is Galen Bingham. I am the leadership strategist, and I am just so excited to be with you every week as we discuss an element of Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich. This is hosted by the Ann McNeil Factor and the International Mastermind Association. This is going to be an amazing show as we focus on the principle of decision and how that fits into this entire success philosophy to make sure that we are overcoming procrastination. And we've got an amazing guest. Pegine is no stranger to the Think and Grow Rich show. She was actually one of the co-hosts for quite a while. She's a keynote speaker, a social entrepreneur. She is, I've got to read this. She is the only Latina and one of 8 female inductees into the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame. So, this is the perfect person to talk to us about making a decision and overcoming procrastination. So I can't wait for you to hear from Pegine and get into this principle. Like I say all the time, I would love to just have this conversation one-on-one, but today we've got to bring in Miss Ann McNeil, the leader of this crew, the mastermind behind the mastermind process. And I'm quite excited about this conversation. I know you are too. Share with the audience why you are excited about hearing from Pegine today.
Well, first of all, let me welcome everybody. Ann McNeil, the Master Builder, helping you to build a stronger and better life and business right here, right now. We are talking about the principle of decision, which is also called the mastery of procrastination, and it's the 7th step toward riches from this philosophy. And I am excited to have back on this podcast our co-host, our friend, my sister in the spirit, Pegine, and she has made many, many, many decisions, and we're going to talk about that today. But I want to also encourage all of our listeners, think about what is it that you're procrastinating on? How can you make the decision to do something today? And we're going to ask you to take a step and put that decision in the chat. Yes, whether you're listening on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're listening. And by the way, we're moving over to YouTube 100%. But please make a decision to like, comment, and share this show. And Galen, as always, let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's get in. Let's get in. This is gonna be one that you need to tell some people about. You need to actually take a few minutes, tag a few people, forward this, nudge your wife or your husband, whoever's next to you, and make sure that they are ready to go because this is going to be amazing. Let's go ahead and bring in Pegine because I want to share just a little bit more information about her. She is a multi author. She's written several books. Her newest book is called Call to Lead: Success Strategies for Women. But some of her other more popular books are Sometimes You Need to Kick Your Own Butt, which is incredibly popular. As a matter of fact, it was named one of the top 10 books for women in the human resources for the Society of Human Resource Management, or SHRM. She's written Bragging Rights, Transform Your Team in 21 Days, Lead and Think Big. The list goes on and on, but she is an absolute powerhouse. And I just can't wait to bring my friend back into the conversation. So Pegine, let's bring her onto the screen and give everyone just a little taste of why we are so excited to have you back. Welcome back to the conversation, Pegine.
Wonderful goodness to be with both of you and to know that we're going to be talking about procrastination and decision making. Wow, this is what it's all about, and being with people that you love, right? That you love. Loving both of you will only exude that we can be putting it out to the world saying we love you. We want you to be part of this. We want you to hear it. We want you to go for it. We want you to make a decision and stop the procrastination.
Well, fantastic. Well, hey, we're going to jump into this full on, and as we've threatened several times before we went live, we could just turn the entire hour over to Pegine, and you guys would be in great hands. But one of the things, Miss Ann, I would love for you to do is, before we get into this conversation, introduce the video where we share all of the principles so that our audience can understand how this sits into the entire success philosophy compiled by Napoleon Hill.
Absolutely, absolutely, Galen. I always like to start at the beginning. And when I think about my beginning in this philosophy and reading the book, I started with the first chapter, the first principle, which talks about desire. And over the years, I am realizing that nothing happens for any of us. And this is the decision, but nothing happens without a desire. And when you think about after you have that desire, what is the faith that is required to achieve that desire? And then we move on, Galen, and this is what the 13 principles are going to share with us. We move on from faith to thinking about how do you take your desire and affirm what it is that you are going to do, be, have, become through that faith. That's called the autosuggestion principle. And from the autosuggestion principle, you go to specialized knowledge. Exactly what are you going to do to niche, to be rich in your craft? You need specialized knowledge. And when you take that specialized knowledge and you use your mixed imagination, whether it is creative, how do you take that imagination and mix it with all of those things in specialized knowledge? And Galen, then we move on to the organized plans of everything we've just discussed. I would like to suggest, and that's what we're discussing here today, this is a mastermind that we're discussing. And every plan that you have, you need accountability from that mastermind group. Then there's what we're discussing today, which is that decision. Then you move on to the persistence that is required to take that decision and act on it no matter what. From that, your mastermind principle, and from mastermind, you go to some of the favorite, which many of us don't like to talk about, but that is the mystery of sex transmutation, the principle of that mixed with the brain, the sixth sense, and of course, that gives us the 13 principles. And now we'll watch the video, which is going to go in greater detail on each of those principles. So hold on.
Number 1 is desire. Napoleon Hill said that everything starts with a burning desire, a compelling reason for doing what it is we do. Step 2 is faith, having belief in our ability to attain that which we desire. Step 3 is what we call autosuggestion. Autosuggestion simply means being very intentional about the things that we are pouring into our thoughts, into our brains, and into our consciousness. Our brains, our minds will receive everything automatically, but we have to work extra hard to make sure that the positive things are what we are feeding ourselves, because those positive thoughts are going to turn into positive actions. Step number 4 is specialized knowledge. No one person knows everything, even about whatever their particular area of expertise might be. And the value of the mastermind principle is using the specialized knowledge of other people. Step number 5 is imagination, the workshop of the mind. Everything starts with our imagination and our thoughts, the burning desire to transform those thoughts into our reality. In order to do that, we have to take a look at step 6, which is organized planning. That is how we crystallize our desire into action, organizing ourselves. Having the thought and not acting on the thought isn't going to get us anywhere. We have the thought, we go through the organized planning to transform that thought into action. Step number 7 is decision. What Napoleon Hill said is the mastery of procrastination. Napoleon Hill said that the antidote to procrastination is simply to make a decision and then move on that decision. Step 8 is persistence. We have to have a sustained effort which is induced by our faith in order to achieve our goals. One of Napoleon Hill's books I love, even the title, 3 Feet from Gold. Those people who became rich during the gold rush in the wild, wild west days didn't do that because they were necessarily smarter or had better information than anyone else. It's because they stayed just a little bit longer. Sometimes people left when they were just literally 3 feet from gold. So hanging in there, being persistent, is step number 8. Step number 9, the power of the mastermind, the driving force. None of us can accomplish anything on our own. Everybody, I don't care who you are, from the most prominent person to the person who might be considered the lowest on the totem pole, everybody has someone who helped them get to where they are. And the power of the mastermind is being able to use those influences around us, use the thoughts, use the knowledge, use the exploration of other people to help us in achieving our goal. Step number 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. This title can be a little confusing, but essentially what the mystery of sex transmutation means is that we oftentimes in our society think of sex as being purely physical. It is absolutely physical, but what Napoleon Hill teaches us is that sex also has an emotional element, and that sex is the strongest of our desires. That if we can take our sexual energy, transform that into positive, creative influences, it can propel us to new heights. And so we spend quite a bit of time talking about the mystery of step 10, which is sex transmutation. Step number 11 is the subconscious mind, which Napoleon Hill tells us is the connecting leap between our human mind and the infinite intelligence, the source of all thought, the source of all creativity. Conscious mind, we spent some time talking about how we use that through the influence of autosuggestion and what we're feeding into our mind. Step number 12, which is the brain, the broadcasting and receiving station of thought. Final step number 13, the sixth sense, the door to Temple of Wisdom. This is the final step through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort from or demands by the individual. The principle is the apex of the philosophy. It can be assimilated, understood, and applied only by first mastering the other 12 principles.
Well, I don't know how you don't get excited after listening to that and watching that video. That's what we're here to talk about with our guest, Pegine. I also want to acknowledge everyone who's joined us. I see Doretha has joined us from YouTube. Tashana is on Facebook. Boy, we just got everyone calling in. They obviously know Pegine. Regina, I see you. Regina. Definitely tag some friends, share, like, make sure that no one misses this conversation. So Pegine, let's get into this because there's a lot to cover here. One of the things that I think make you the perfect guest to talk about this topic is because number one, you're a motivational speaker, but number two, you're a pretty savvy businesswoman. You're a pretty savvy business person. And to do the kinds of things that you've done is absolutely impossible if you don't make decisions, if you fall victim and allow yourself to fall victim to procrastination. One of the things that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, he says procrastination is the opposite of decision, and it is the common enemy of most people who fall victim to this. So what are some key decisions that you've made, and how do you guard against procrastination? Because every one of us are tempted to procrastinate. How do you guard against procrastination so that you can do some of these amazing things that you do in your business and in your life?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. And ooh, that little movie was just right. It set me up to the sixth sense where I just closed my eyes and said, just let it all flow, let it come through. We made a decision to wake up early, to be here, to serve, to do well. So just, bless all of us who are listening, all of us who are participating, so that you have the prosperity and the joy and the love and Think and Grow Rich. Let's just be real about that. So, wow, you asked me a lot of questions in one little question. So, So decision. So for me, decision began many, many years ago. So I've been reading Think and Grow Rich for decades and decades and decades. My first time that I read it was when I was about 17 years old. It was introduced to me through somebody in Success Magazine. I was in a gang. I was a gang member. Sister was a prostitute, heroin addict, just lots of stuff going on in my life. And I was on the corner of Jack's Candy Store. I was with my friends Rats and Peanuts. And what I had done was just say, there has got to be a better way. This cannot be what my life is about. And I closed my eyes in that moment, and truly a thought about a TV came out, and me on the TV talking kind of like what I'm doing right now. I did not know what that meant. I had no clue. I just knew that I had to make a decision in that moment to leave. And being a 17-year-old girl in the Bronx, and being a gang member, I thought I was really important, because that's what 17, we think that we're really important. So I thought that I had to leave the country. I ran home, said goodbye to everybody, ran home, put 5 countries in the hat, and I was going to pull one out. I really wanted to go to Spain. That was my dream, so I could really become very fluent in Spanish. But I was so scared to make the decision that I said the universe will make the decision for me. So I had put England. I figured if I showed up in England, Paul McCartney would marry me. I put Italy because I like pasta. I put Germany. I have no clue why. I put France because I smoked cigarettes back then. I thought I'd look cool. And then in Spain. And I just closed my eyes and I said, please pick Spain, please pick Spain. And I did pick Spain, and a week and a half later, I went to go live in Spain. I left everything, and that changed my life. That decision of action has absolutely transformed my life. It has led continually on. So I do go within, I do make decisions. When we worked with the White House and the Department of Defense on producing an event for, they said 10,000 people. We actually had 30,000 people, and we had President Obama as a speaker, and we had every branch in there. I was the head of the whole thing. And I had to continually make decisions, because as a leader, it was my decision to say, we're going to go for it. So let me just share what this looks like. I said, we can do it. We will do it. This will happen. On the Thursday night, 3 days before the event, I had to pay almost $300,000, a little bit more, to all my suppliers. I had to have it in the morning. I had $3,000 in my account. I had absolutely positively made a decision. Nothing was going to get in my way. Nothing was going to get in my way. We were going to make this happen. I made that decision. My team was nervous. My CFO was freaking out. I said, you all go to bed. I am telling you, we will have the money in time. You don't worry about it. Well, listen to this. In government contracting, and you know this, there is always false safes, ways to prevent, people from getting advantage of money and not get paid. But there's also ways to go around it. So I just went, universe, God, you are going to get this done, because this is going to happen. This is there is no failure here. We're just getting it done. At 4:00 in the morning, I went to my account, and there I had something done with a government contract called suspension, which means that they suspended all the rules and deposited $850,000 in my account in the middle of the night. And here's the back end story. This has had the ripple effect of decisions. I made that decision years earlier. I had decided, hold on 1 minute, I got to get it. I had decided that I was going to write this little book called Sometimes You Need to Kick Your Own Butt. Little book, tiny book, did it on WordPerfect. It turns out the woman in Oklahoma who was in charge of pressing the button to make sure that the money would go through had been in one of my sessions, which I had decided to do free about 2 years earlier. And I had decided to give this little book that I had decided to write. I did not care if it was not pretty. I did this on Word Perfect. It's never changed. I wrote this book. She had the book on her desk when my company came across Team Pegine. She goes, I know Pegine. She saw the book. It was there. They press this. This is what decisions do. This is what I am so not perfect. However, I don't care. I'm going to, if there's a calling that I need to do, I'm just going to do it. Now, do I procrastinate? Hey, yes, I do. I do. I would be 106 pounds and built really strong, with muscles and stuff if I made the decision. Obviously, I procrastinate there. Can't give you any solutions about it because I haven't figured it out for me yet. Well, I do know what to do, but I just don't want to do it. So that's my decision. So the decision is propelled by faith. Decision is propelled not what anybody else thinks. What do you think? What do you want? What do you want to create? And seriously, I will spend many times when I make a decision and then people want to question my decision. Literally, I put my fingers in my ear and I go, la, 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 la. Because you know what? None of those people are going to be with me to face the consequences if I don't make the decision. Right. It's really funny. Like everybody says, oh, here's what you should do. Here's what you should do. And I'm like, well, have you done it? Have you done it? Because I have done it. I know the risks. I know the failures. I know the pain. I also know the joy and the elation and joy and the absolute magnificence. So I love this. And I love what we're talking about. I do talk a lot, so you could always jump in and stop me. But I think that the procrastination is what you do when you haven't decided who you are.
Oh my gosh.
Procrastination is also sometimes that you don't believe in yourself. You don't have confidence with you going. And if I can share, Gillian, you can ask more questions, but can I share what I do?
Please do. Please do.
So I learned a long time ago that I'm human. Amazing. And I learned that I can make a decision. And when we go, it's like you go on a road trip and you know where you're going to head. You're going to make a decision on going there. And then you want to stop. Oh, let's go over here and check this out. And oh, let's check that out. And you can get off your path, which is fine. But you've got to be able to bring back where are you headed. So I always create. And so every year I create my plan, right? So I have my plan that I write. I have little tabs, but what's really, really important, and it's actually based on everything that I learned from Think and Grow Rich. I write my plan and then I do 3 things. Well, I do a whole bunch of things, but first off, I write who are my list of advisors. So these are advisors that I'm going to listen to because they've done stuff. And that's Helen Keller, Eleanor Roosevelt, Madam Walker, Golda Meir, Mae West, Joan of Arc, Yoda, because I like Yoda. So those are people that I will, in my own mind, sit back and get really focused on what do you want. I always have my declaration, which is all written in Think and Grow Rich, right? That I know where I'm going. I know what I want. I know how much money I want to do. I say I have in my possession the amount of money which comes to me in various amounts from time to time during the year. I share what I do in return for money. I read that every day, sometimes twice a day, because life can get you stuff happens. So how do you stay focused on what you say you want? You were talking about the 13 principles. One of them was auto-suggestion. I have to write my affirmations, because guess what happens? Nobody's going to ever say it to me. So I might as well say to me, I have faith in myself. I achieve everything I set my mind on. I am flourishing. I have faith in me and my abilities and my vision. I believe in me. I am valuable. I believe in my ability. Those are some of my affirmations. But I also know that sometimes life can sway you, right? Do you ever have a bad time in your life, and that you wake up in the morning and you're just not where you want to be, or you start having those dark thoughts? And when you're in those dark thoughts, if you start having those dark thoughts, it could have a very bad day for you,
Yeah,
right?
but Ken, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about, have you share a single decision that you have made that has impacted the lives of many. And the reason I ask that question is because I think many of our listeners uh, are sitting on their acres of diamonds, if you will, like Russell Conwell said in his book. And there are people who will only hear their voice. You see, there are people who will only hear Galen's voice. There are people that will only hear my voice. There are people that will only hear your voice, whoever you are listening to us. And so when you don't act on that decision to do what you're called to do, they cannot be blessed by you, and only your voice they'll hear. So, can you share with us at least one decision that you have made that is impacting the lives of many?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you the huge decision I made in December.
And was it easy?
Um, so here's what the decisions, I don't find the decisions difficult to make. It will sometimes be the execution of those decisions that become difficult. And it's why you need faith, and you need to not procrastinate. So to answer your question, so I run Power Women Worldwide. I have a group of the most extraordinary experts, speakers, authorities, women that are brilliant. And I choose in my world to serve women worldwide. I choose to ensure that women are bold. I said, be bold, be brave, be seen, be heard, and be paid well. It is my decision that that is my mission. And so in December, an idea came to me. Actually, it came from two different people. I knew that I needed a way to share with the world the brilliance of women, and to inspire millions of women through their brilliance. It was a decision. At the same time I made that decision, somebody that's in my mastermind called me up and she said, I have a dream. Seriously, not like I have a dream like Martin Luther King, but she had a dream. She said that we're going to work together to produce a book, and it's books for about this women. And I said, but here's the thing: is everybody I work with is called to lead. I only work with Jedi women, women who are called to serve a message, women who are called to step up. And so I decided to make a decision in December that I was going to produce a book called Called to Lead, and I was going to gather 20 top women who would write a chapter on their perspective of being called to lead. Now that had in December, and I had everybody telling me it's going to take a year to 2 years to write the book. It's going to take this. No, no, no. We are going to have the book, and I made that decision. We're going to have the book in our hands by March 25th, which is my event. And everybody said, including my publisher, saying, I don't know that we can make it. I said, never doubt me. We will get this done. And I was able to have these women, these extraordinary women. I pulled them all together. I said, just tell me what the plan is. how do you get this stuff done? Because I'm not a publisher. I don't know how to do it, but just tell me what the dates are. We'll get it done. And I was a fierce, focused female to get the job done. And so this is the book. Now, here, what has this done? So, for the first time, some of these 18 people that are in the book for the first time are being asked to be interviewed. What impact is that? This is something that they're being impacted for the first time. They've been featured in some major magazines. For the first time, their messages are being heard. Diana Watson is in Taiwan. She's she's a number one, listen to this, number one Toastmaster speaker in English and in Mandarin. She's a beautiful, brilliant woman. Now, not only that, so you think I'm saying that, you're all saying, Diana Watson, you're over there. She must look Asian. No, she's a black girl from I think her family's from Washington, like, who's living in Taiwan. The woman is brilliant. Her words are being seen. Her life is being transformed. Things are opening up. Not only that, is now companies and organizations, we have two major organizations that are using the book as part of their book study program for women leaders. Now, is it about me? No, it's about them. But it's decision, and I made the decision. So the second decision with this book was, a lot of times in these kind of books, right, it's always like the head person gets the name over there. I made the decision of purchasing and having them design covers for each one of them to have their own name on the cover. So it's Diana Watson and 17 Inspirational Women, so that they can hold their book without having it to be Pegine. It's, they were part of it. They're instrumental. So to make that kind of decision, yes, did I have to sign a contract for a large sum of money to get the job done? Yes. Did I have to enroll women and say, you got to act fast? And because, right?
I know, because I didn't.
I said, you got to act fast. You only have 3 days to make a decision. You're in or you're not. And I'm not coming to coddle. You are cold, right? You have to write all this material by January 15th. So nobody was going to procrastinate, because everybody would have procrastinated. So I was divinely blessed to make a decision to believe and have faith that we were going to get the job done. And if I had even spent a little bit of time of listening to so many people of the people saying, they'll never get done, you can't do this. Oh, well, we've done that. First off, you might have done it. You've never done it with me. You might have said it was going to be, you've never done it with me. We made number one in women business, number one in business communication. We made number one in some other group, which I can't remember. We've dropped down since, because once you make a decision, and here's where the procrastination comes in. If you are not drumming the beat of what you've done or what you're doing, people forget, especially in this world, right? So for me now, where we did 30 graphics so that every day Call to Lead is showing up somewhere, sometime, and somewhere. Because I don't know when you're called to make the decision to buy it. But darn it, if I'm not out there and I don't tell you the book, you won't even know that the teacher has arrived. The teacher has arrived. Exactly. And that's why we have to put it out there.
Hey, one of the things I want to go back to, and because it just hit me, I think I even said, wow. You said procrastination is what you do when you don't know who you are. And one of the comments that we shared before we went on air is just my acknowledging how you seem to have turned up the volume on your branding. You're still true. You're still the same Pegine I remember, but you seem to be more so. And you talked about going into your first photo shoot with this idea, this inspiration to turn up who you were. Could you share that story with our audience and how that impacted the Pegine that we are experiencing today?
This is such a great, thank you for asking this, because I had also time to think about it. One of the decisions with me choosing to be my full and complete self, I am a wild woman, if you didn't get it, is that I had spent many, many years adjusting, conforming to what I thought the world needed me to be, which was bangs and little page boy hair, even though for a while I had some punky hair going on for a while. And, people had told me, like I was dyeing my hair, I had these bangs, never realized that I was having the bangs and the bangs was hiding who I was until I no longer have bangs and I don't hide out. But one of the decisions for me was I don't have time to mess around. If you haven't noticed, I'm not 22. And I am no longer willing to hide, to not show up fully and completely. I think that people need to see role models of people who are showing up boldly and bravely and that they're willing to be seen and heard. I know for myself, I had to make a decision that I was going to express myself fully and completely with all that I am and that all that I've been blessed with. Now, not to say it's really easy. The decision is, well, now it's like I can't not have this on my head, right? I can't not have my red lipstick. I invest a lot of money in red lipstick. It is to be bold and brave and seen and heard. How can I have that as a mantra if I'm not willing to live it? If I'm saying to women and to people to be bold, brave, seen, heard, and paid well, how can I am in service with the world. How can I limit myself by trying to conform to what everybody else thinks I should be? I'm not everybody else. I'm me. And I think that's really important. In Think and Grow Rich, there's something really powerful, and it's called the self-confidence formula. And I have it in my book with my tabs, but there's a really important line here that some people read it and they just go over it, but I chose to make this a decision that I choose to live now. And I'm going to just read this. I will never stop pursuing my chief aim until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Now, here's something really important to this. It's a decision. I will never stop pursuing. It's a decision to develop sufficient self-confidence. Now, you will all say to me, "Ooh, girl, you got so much self-confidence. It's just bouncing off your tape." Well, actually, I had to build more self-sufficient confidence to be able to do the work that I choose to do. If I'm saying I want women to be bold, brave, seen, heard, and paid well, that is a woman who cannot be stepping out. I can't just deal with Jacksonville. This is a world thing. So it's a world mission. That means I have to level up who I communicate with, how I communicate, and where I show up. So in a way, Galen, I have two things. So yes, I've got this firebrand. This is my crown. I am out there. I'm going to go. I imagine always that I have this pole, this staff that goes, this is mine. This is what I stand for. This is who I am. I do have a shield, right? That says, deflect, deflect, deflect. I choose. If you don't want to believe with me, trust me, you're going to bounce off my shield. You are not going to show up. You are bouncing off every part. I had this aura that you're either with me or you're not. That's okay. I'm not here to be everybody's friend. I'm here to serve Jedi women and to find the allies to help. That's my job. That's my mission. That's my decision. Now, I tell you about procrastination. Sometimes things happen in life that make you stop your mission. So when mom died, I was like Jello head. You know that. I was lost. She was my best friend. She was the one she was my girl. She was the one that was behind me. She was the one that pumped. To not have her be around physically really disoriented me. I never deviated from my mission. I never deviated from my piece, but I did get stuck in what others will say, well, what's nice, you should procrastinate. But I'm laughing at myself because Peggy, you are so BSing over here. Your mother died in August. You produced a book in December. How poor me was I? Do you know what I mean?
I have another question, Pegine.
Go ahead.
What impact do you believe the decision that you made in using these principles as a part of your mastermind in this book has had on your success?
Everything.
Because I asked the question, Pegine, because I think it's very important as people listen to this podcast that they understand they can make a decision to make. It's the little decisions that we make or don't make. It's not the big ones. It's the moment to moment decisions that we make. So if you can share the impact that this philosophy and using this book as a part of your mastermind has had, I think it will be very supportive for people. And the reason I ask that is, you may recall, when you were a part of this show as our co-host, we talked about creating an international mastermind association for groups using this philosophy and these principles, and creating a best practices, if you will, but for groups. And so I asked that question because I want to encourage people, as actually we're doing a beta test, so you'll be hearing from us. But I really want to encourage people to think about, as they make a decision, whether an individual decision or part of the mastermind group, to utilize these principles in this book. So if you can share the impact that this has had.
So, listen, the ability to change people's lives. So I taught this. I used to run a family support center for girls and gangs in New York. And I've had a few of them reach out to me in this last year. So I'm talking, for me, decades ago that I did that I taught them. To hear from them now, where they're writing me, because with Facebook you can reach out to me, and they're saying, thank you so much for. I'm getting chills. Thank you so much for sharing this. Because of you, I left the gang. I went on and had my master's degree. I went to college. I have 2 children. This book has changed my life. You have changed my life. And we're talking a woman that had her first baby when she was 14 years old in Brooklyn. Julie reaches out to me and says, because of you, my kids are going to college. I went to college. She became a publisher of a medical journal. She was from Brooklyn. She had nothing, like nothing. To know that 30 years later, all of her kids have gone into college. There is a path that you take when you make a decision. There is impact that you do when you make a decision. I'm all up there, but I'm all that. But the bottom line is, when we worked in DC, I was able to hire thousands of people and give them a way to make a difference. One of the women was brilliant. She was incredible. She asked for $25,000 was her fee. I remember her asking for this, and I was like, "Girlfriend, like you were asking way too low." She was instrumental to my business. Couldn't have done it. Other people were asking exorbitant amounts of money. I paid them too, but she was instrumental. After the event, I went back and I sent her a check for $50,000 because I could not have done it without her. She didn't know it. And she called me up. She said, I was just about to be kicked out of my house and I couldn't pay for my kids. You never know what your decisions are going to do for other people. You never know what difference that's going to make for somebody else. And yes, you're going to get disappointed. The point of it is not to do it to have that result. The point is to do it because you're called to make a decision and you have to choose. And nobody could live it for you, right? I make a decision. I made this decision. This sounds funny, but now it's probably about 6 years ago. I made a decision to make my bed every day. Now, I had lots of reasons why I didn't do it before. The kids were growing up, that was busy, and I had to rush a meeting. I've got to do all this, I've got to do that. But I recognized something by doing that. When I heard the Admiral do the speech about making your bed every day, what I recognize is that one decision makes a difference every time I walk through the house and I walk into the bedroom. There's a sense of, check that out. I'm calm. Like I made one decision today that just makes me so happy and calm. So that's got to affect how I speak. I made a decision, you'll love this, and I made a decision to buy this particular place. Ask me why.
Why?
One of the reasons is I'm surrounded by 4 radio towers. So there are 4 radio stations nearby. So these big radio towers. And I made a decision that I wanted this because when I walk, I am reminded on a daily basis that I am a receiver of messages and I'm a emanator of messages. And you get to choose what channel you hook up to. I personally made a decision to hook up to the channel of Think and Grow Rich. I personally chose to set my channel with people who feed my mind, that teach me how to be better and stronger and happier. I choose that. But I also choose to emanate through a decision that I choose to be a positive, powerful person that can make it joyful. So if I go to buy something, that transaction is going to be, I am blessing you with abundance and goodness. I'm going to bless you with joy. I'm going to bless you with a smile because I know it's hard. I've been playing a game during COVID. How can people feel my smile without seeing my smile? Let me tell you something. You learn how to use your eyes, and I make a decision to compliment women who everybody else will ignore, to tell them how beautiful they are. I love your earrings. I love your hair. I love that shirt. I love that necklace. I choose to be a fairy godmother to adults.
You see, so those of you listening, those of you watching, do you see why we love Pegine? So you guys are just getting a small tidbit of what we used to get every week. And this is the space that she holds in all of our minds and hearts. If you are not following her on social media, if you are not purchasing her books, if you are not replaying and sharing this video, I have no idea what you've been listening to for the last 45 to 50 minutes. Boy, this has just been amazing. We've got all kinds of people commenting on social media. Tashana is all over this conversation. She is a big fan already. Camilla Williams, she loves it. She says that this is so impactful, so influential, and you are just making a difference in her life as well. Miss Ann, I want to come back to you because we've been talking about decisions and how small decisions have a larger impact, oftentimes larger than we might imagine at the time that we're making the decision. You talk a lot about the small decisions that you made several years ago to really read this book, to take it seriously, and then to gather some people together to have an annual meeting. And this is turned into something that we do every year. Would you talk a little bit about the annual meeting and how that decision could potentially impact others who choose to join us this coming year?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Galen. Uh, December 31st, 1979, when I picked this book up and began to read it and allowed it to read me, years later, I began to realize a part of our mastermind group, we would meet monthly to do a monthly check-in. And then we began to meet annually to do an annual check-in, just 10 of us at a small room in a hotel, a small room. And eventually, 90 people in my home, we realized we need to go to a hotel. I'd like to challenge everybody to think about this. Imagine at the end of every year, you have to go before a tribunal, and that tribunal gets to decide based upon what you said you were going to do last year, if you did it or not, whether or not you get to go into the next year and get another 365 days. That's what we do on January this year, coming up 2022, January 7th and 8th. We start off on the 7th with I call it Mic Night, where you get to come and just share. And we check in at like a reception. I call it a founder's reception. But on that Saturday, the 8th, we require, yes, this is not a conference. There's no swag bag. There's no keynote speaker. You are the keynote at your table, sharing your goals, your accomplishments for the previous year, sharing your goals and your projections and your plans for the upcoming year and the next and the next and the next year. So we want to challenge each of you to join us at the Embassy Suites in Boca Raton on January 7th and 8th, 2022, and bring your life in writing. You know, your family mission statement. What are your goals in the 10 areas of your life, starting with your spiritual, your family, your finances? How about your health, your education, your personal development plan? Where is that? How about your business or your career? How about the recreation, the creativity, and the civic areas of your life? Do you have written goals like Pegine showed us her book? Do you have these goals written for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20? Right now, personally, I'm in my 40th year of that plan. And like Pegine talked about her book, for me, mine's like 600-700 pages, but it started with 1 page. And every year I just keep building on it. What about you? Where are your plans? Who's holding you accountable? We'd like to invite you into our home, not literally, but our home at the Embassy Suites, where we will share with you an opportunity and allow you to share with us an opportunity to hold you accountable. So Galen, that's it for that. And I'd like to go right into, I'd like to go directly into, and Brittany, if you can pull up the mid-year, because even though we're talking about the annual, for many of you that did come before, we sent you a letter. On that day, you do write a letter to yourself, and in 6 months, we send that letter to you. But I'm going to challenge each of you to think about checking in with us now on the 31st of this month, July 31st. We're hosting a mid-year check-in, and actually, we're limiting it to only 50 people. Yes, only 50 people, because I believe that first come, first serves. And if you're really serious about your life and making a decision to have a check-in, making a decision to be held accountable, it does not take long to make that decision. Oftentimes we want to wait till the day of or a day before, or maybe a week before. Oh, it will still be there. No, it will not. I made a conscious decision to limit this to only 50 people. You can go to the website at annmcneil.com or you can go to Eventbrite. The details are there. But I really want to encourage all of you, write your own vision for your life and make it plain. Thank you, Galen. Thank you, Pegine.
Absolutely. So this has been an amazing conversation already. I just want to circle back to everyone, and I'm going to go right back to you, Miss Ann, and just ask, what are some key things that you got from this conversation, and what are some things that you're working on that people should probably be aware of? And I'll go right back to you, Miss Ann, so we can finish off with Pegine.
Well, Pekin, I want you to know I do have 2 pages of notes here. I won't read them all. I won't read them all, but I will say the one that Galen mentioned I'd written when you said it, and that is procrastination is what you procrastination is what you do. I should say don't do when you don't know who you are. And I'll add what's important to you. So that was a big aha for me in every area to just make sure I continue to focus there. You can reach me at annmcneil.com, but only if you're serious about being held accountable. All right. Only if you're serious. And if you're interested in our 6 keys to riches, you can text the word Ann, ANN, at 55678. Thank you. 55678. Thank you. All right, Galen.
Yeah, and I want to come back to Begin and just get your final thoughts. What are your final thoughts about this conversation? And any parting words that you want to share with people who are still struggling with procrastination?
So here are parting words. Now, Galen and Ann, just put it so that Galen and Ann could be there because I want to watch their faces for a minute. Here's what I'm going to say. Decision is this. I'm back. So I've missed tremendously the mastermind, right? I love talking to all of you watching the show. Love it, love it, love it. And I am propelled, my world gets propelled when I'm with my mastermind, and Galen and Ann and St. Pete, as I call him, are part of my mastermind. So I want to come back at least to play a little bit, if that's okay.
What? Wait.
That's okay. I'm back.
Okay, so you got to talk about, Miss Ann, you got to
publicly-
share what we've been saying.
Let me publicly put this on blast. Are you telling the world, and this is being recorded so we can play it back?
I'm one of your co-hosts again.
Is this a decision?
Oh no, it is. So for me, it's a decision. For you, it might be a nightmare. But
Ken, are you telling the world you are making a decision to come back and be a co-host on this show?
Yes.
What?
Oh yeah, because you haven't called to ask me, and I've recovered. I had to step out so I could be with where I was. I am back because here's the bottom line that people don't recognize. You have to surround yourself with people who are on their path, who understand where we're going, and who absolutely positively are invested in their process of Think and Grow Rich. Anne has her story from 1979. I have my story. I will tell you that I have so much to learn that I want, and the only way to do that is to make a commitment to show up. And so I commit to show up. Now, for those of you watching, you have to understand something. I love Anne very much, but she's a pain in my neck. That means that I am committing to being on earlier at Wednesdays to have a conversation. And if we're not doing that, that would be fabulous. But I'm there. It means that I had to be up at 5:00 on Saturday because this doesn't happen easily. So that's what I'm saying. And so you have to commit, right? If I want to grow to where I want to grow, I need to be around people who love me enough to call me out when I'm not doing this.
Well, let me publicly have a board meeting. Wait. Let me have a board meeting. Hold on. Okay, so the board has decided that if you're willing to come back, we would gladly will welcome open arms to accept you.
Hold on. I think we should take a vote from our guests, from our listeners. If you are listening to this, if you're watching this, if you are part of this community,
Look at this, Shauna.
I want you to vote in the chat whether or not Pegine should come back as an ongoing co-host of the show. Put a yes or an amen or a hallelujah. I need to hear something. I need to see something. All right, we got one Facebook user vote. Lakeisha saying yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, they're coming in. They're coming in. Well, I am just really excited. And one of the things I wanted to share is Miss Ann. We have said Doretha's got an aim, and they're coming in so fast I can't keep up. Hurry back,
Doretha say hurry.
hurry back. One of the things, Miss Ann, that we would talk about is, throughout the weeks, we were forever looking to whether or not to add other people. And we would often say, we're just looking for someone with the Pekine kind of energy. That was the standard that we were holding. So,
So Galen, let me just let you know there is nobody like me because there is nobody like you. But I think so. Everybody watching, this is really funny to watch. Is Anne and Galen are acting like they have a decision in this, and the truth of the matter is, I'm going to show up whether they like it or not, and it's because I think Enrich fuels my soul. It keeps me energized and focused. It keeps me engaged with my life. I want to be with these two and St. Pete because we all think differently and we all have different experiences. And so what you all don't know is not only is what you see and experience, but what happens before is as equally, if not even more profoundly for me, rich.
It's true.
In growing my life. So now, all of you be aware, you may see me for 35 years, and the older I'm getting, the more truthful I am. So I get that, and I'm excited about that. So thank you for thank you for inviting me to be part of the group. Thank you for, but seriously, for everybody watching, and people in my mastermind group, people, I have a Power Woman Elite. Think and Grow Rich. When you apply it to your life, when you stay diligent about falling in love with yourself, because really that's what it's about.
Yes.
It's about saying, I love me enough to invest in my personal growth, my financial growth, my spiritual growth, my physical growth, my relationship growth, and to fall in love with yourself. If you don't take that time to fall in love with yourself and study, you lose your power.
You yourself. Yes, you lose yourself.
You lose yourself, and you don't even get to discover your power, right? You don't even get to see every single person. I just got to say this because I'm getting chills, so that's divine coming down. Every single one of you is here to make a difference, to touch lives profoundly, because people are watching you. You are the radio tower. And if you're not receiving the information that's being blessed and given on your plates, so those of you that are listening to Think and Grow Rich, those of you that are watching this, you are called to hear this message so that you can serve your people in a higher, more profound way and serve yourself. Every cell of your body is a unique being within you. And it desperately is saying, please feed me with the positivity, feed me with the concepts, feed me with the ideas, because I need this for you to be your most profound self.
Love
And
it.
this is why it's so critically important that you receive and invest in yourself, and that you also give. And let me be clear about something. This doesn't happen on a Saturday. I'm in a Sunday, Wednesday, Friday group of readings. I'm in now a Saturday. Thank you. A Saturday and
Wednesday
Wednesday
morning.
group of investment. In my mind, in my soul, it doesn't happen. You know, I should be by all rights, my sister died of a heroin OD. I should have been like her. It was a decision, and it was Think and Grow Rich that shifted my world. So I have that negative, that stuff is inside. I need to be this so that I can be who God saw me to be.
Mm. This is again, if you guys aren't following Pegine, if you're not subscribing to this podcast, if you are not flagging this every time this comes on your screen as a show, I don't know what you've been listening to for the past hour. This has been an incredible show with some amazing announcements. I can tell you for myself, one of the key things that I picked up from this, and I've written a couple of things down that are actually going to be screensavers, and I'm going to create an image and have it on my phone as the desktop for my phone. And it's what she just said. If you fail to invest in yourself, you lose your power, you lose yourself. I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. You either invest or you lose. There's no middle ground. This has been an incredible conversation. My name is Galen Bingham. I'm the leadership strategist. There are so many ways you can get a hold of me on Facebook, social media, Instagram. But one of the more fun ways to get a hold of me is to listen to and subscribe to my podcast, Whiskey, Jazz, and Leadership. It's real talk you can't get anywhere else. We invite coaches, we invite CEOs, we invite mentors. Everyone will come over to my home. I'm going to share some incredible whiskey with them. We're going to listen to some amazing jazz and share what it really takes to be effective as a leader. I double dog dare you to try me at least one time on any platform that you might consume podcasts. And look forward to seeing you here next week as we continue our walk through the book Think and Grow Rich with our special guest, Evan Piper, another return guest. He is amazing. You're going to be so inspired and you're going to be so motivated to take this journey that you've heard both Ann and Pegine and myself talking about this week. We want to send best wishes out to Dr. Peter James as he is recovering and on his way back. He's caught, I think it was just a bug, but we want to send him some well wishes. And I want to wish you a very, very productive weekend. And I hope that you think and grow rich. Until next time, take care.